Good day and welcome to Dutchess Talk Radio. I'm John Marino and we are produced by Shark Creative, made possible by Entergy, supporting our communities right through the spring of 2021. We are joined here on Dutchess Talk Radio today. The Sports Report is our program, and we are joined by Steve Gliner. Steve Gliner is the president and general manager of the Hudson Valley Renegades Class A baseball team. The Renegades are headquartered and play their home games at Dutchess Stadium in Wappingers Falls, just off the now newly branded Exit 41, the old Exit 11, I guess, of I-84 on Route 9D. Steve, welcome to Dutchess Talk Radio, and I know the season is about to get underway soon.
Hi, John. Well, thanks for having me today. And yes, we are a few weeks away from opening day here at Dutchess Stadium, and for our newly affiliated Renegades affiliation with the New York Yankees, which is really, really exciting. We've been an affiliate with the Tampa Bay Rays since 1997, and that was a tremendous partnership. But certainly having our affiliation with the Yankees, only 60 miles down the road here from Dutchess Stadium, and going to a full season at a higher level of baseball, that's a lot of things for everybody to be excited about, so we can't wait to get the season started.
You know, you've got a good location there right off 84, and I've worked a number of high school baseball games at Dutchess Stadium for schools like Pauling and Haldane right below the Dutchess border in Putnam County, also for Weebatuck High in Dutchess County as well, and other schools. And I'm always impressed by how many people turn out at the stadium for a high school game, for a college baseball game. Manhattan College has used the stadium and others, and it's a great facility and a great place to watch a game.
Yeah, you know, it's tremendous that we are able to host local college and high school games here at Dutchess Stadium as well. Ever since we put in the new turf field back in 2014, we've been able to do even more of that. This year we have new lights that we just installed here at the stadium, so the level of lighting has been increased and brought up to a much better level for the professional side, and certainly for the amateur sports as well. So great baseball fans here in Dutchess County and in the Hudson Valley in general. And it's one of my favorite things is to watch fans still at the ballpark. And it's become kind of a lost art, but to see fans who keep score and really pay attention to the game. That's what I love about the experience here at Dutchess Stadium, is that we can accommodate both sides of the coin. You have your real diehard baseball fans that really want to pay attention to the game. And now with the Yankees affiliation, those individuals who are going to follow these players as they make their way up through the system and wind up at Yankee Stadium here in a few years, hopefully. But the fans will also come out for the entertainment aspect and the community aspect, and just love everything else that we do at the ballpark alongside baseball. And that's the in-between innings contests, the food and beverage experience, all the things that make coming to a game a lot of fun for fans. And when you put it all together, we're able to provide all that here at Dutchess Stadium.
You know, one thing that impressed me during the years you were a Rays affiliate is how you could walk around different parts of the stadium and see a poster of this player or that player, and you'd see them up with Tampa Bay in 2-3 years down the road. Now with the Yankees and being a Class A affiliate, not a short season team anymore, the level of play goes up. The level of baseball is up because you are an A team now. And you have future Bronx Bombers, guys we will see in the Bronx 2-3 years down the road. One of my best experiences as a kid was going to a Yankees game one day, an early evening game on a Saturday with my father and cousin. My cousin scored some tickets late in the day, and he said, we're going to get also to watch the Yankees and Mets A-ball team, a special game at Yankee Stadium. They brought in the Yankees and Mets A-ball team for a game before the Yankees game that night. And what I remember specifically, this was 1965, the Yankees team beat the Mets A-ball team 2-1 on a home run in the Yankees next to last at bat. The Yankees A-ball team next to last at bat by a left-handed third baseman, 2-run home run down the left field line, whose name I can never remember, never made it to the Yankees. But the pitcher for the Mets A-ball team who threw the pitch that day, pitched a complete game and lost the game, was Jerry Koosman. I saw Jerry Koosman as an A-baller in 65 at Yankee Stadium. Could never forget that experience. I think that's what this is about.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's funny. The Renegades, I want to say it was 2002 or 2003. We played the Brooklyn Cyclones at Shea Stadium. And our entire staff went down. A lot of our fans went down. It was like a 3 o'clock in the afternoon game prior to the Mets and whoever they were playing that night. And same kind of thing. Really cool to see our players out on the field, just taking it all in. That's the prize, right? To play at the major league level, and they at the New York Penn League level, short season A level. That's a few steps away, but to be able to play a regular season game in a major league building like that, clearly you could see that a lot of the fans were really excited about that, and certainly the players and the coaching staff as well. So,
And this
that's a
is
pretty
the
cool
way
memory
we're
right
in
there.
now with A-ball, instead of short season baseball here. Like I said, you up the level, the quality of play. And this really should spur, I think, more people to come out to the stadium because you will get better baseball.
Indeed. And I was fortunate. Before I came back to the Renegades here in 2017, I was in the Florida State League with the Minnesota Twins affiliate down there. And you definitely see a lot more players at this level eventually make it to the major leagues than when we were a New York Penn League affiliate. And so fans can expect not only a better level of baseball, but to start to see familiar names 2, 3, 4 years down the road that they saw play games here, not only for the Renegades, but also for our opponents as well.
And the way baseball operated last year, the way they will this year too, with the taxi squads, et cetera, and major league teams worried about how they're going to get their staffs through a 162-game season if all goes according to plan. Last year, they played basically 1/3 of the season. Pitchers were not stretched out. They're very worried about that. So last year, you'd see guys up from A and AA who never would have gotten a shot last year. Guys like Miguel Yajure with the Yankees, who was traded to the Pirates during the offseason, and pitchers with the Mets, too. David Peterson, a #1 pick a few years back, never would have gotten a shot last year. Andres Jimenez at shortstop, they did because of the situation. We might see somebody in Wappingers Falls tonight and see them at Yankee Stadium tomorrow afternoon just because of the way baseball has and the way teams have to operate this season now, too.
Well, you never know, and that's the beauty of it. And obviously, for many businesses, including Major League Baseball, the pandemic has thrown a few curveballs, so to speak, and so they have to get creative in how they field the team, and certainly too with the pandemic still going on, and Major League Baseball has done a very good job of making sure that the players stay safe and that that they're staying on the field, of course. But there's always going to be a time here or there where they have to make an adjustment for that because of that. So, it's nice geographically the way that these minor league systems have played out, and for the Yankees, have played out great. So now what they're doing is they're able to send players from Tampa, which is their low A team, and then when they come here to Hudson Valley for high A, and then from high A they would go to Double A Somerset and Triple A Scranton, and then to the Yankee Stadium. So once they get to Hudson Valley, they don't ever have to get on a plane again. That's how close we are geographically for all the affiliates. So even with moves like you're describing, there's always a ripple effect with that, because if they're pulling a player from what you call the taxi squad, which would then become AAA this year, so to speak, that they might need to move a player up and move a player up in order to accommodate the other levels. So having the affiliates closer by, where you're not talking about extensive travel and you could basically get there by car, that really is going to help the system from a player development standpoint.
And the Yankees having a team in Somerset, New Jersey, in central Jersey, in Somerset County. I guess the AA operation is there this year for the Yankees. That's, they were in Trenton. Somerset's a little closer than Trenton is. Like you say, we can do it all by car. But to be in the Hudson Valley where you are in Dutchess County, and to be in Somerset County, that is a short hop to Yankee Stadium both ways if need be. And you'd think even more and more as to what might play out this year might be in the same day. You might see somebody in Wappingers Falls this afternoon, or in Somerset at Patriot Stadium during the afternoon, and see them at Yankee Stadium tonight.
Could certainly happen.
I'd like to see it happen.
And I remember you mentioned something like that. I remember as a kid when you were mentioning the Mets, when Joel Youngblood, remember that name?
Yes, back in the
Joel
70s.
Youngblood played a day game for the Mets, got traded, and then went to Montreal, but the game was in Philadelphia, and he got a hit.
Right.
for the Mets in the afternoon and the Montreal Expos in the evening. I
At
think it's the
night.
only
Yep.
time a player's ever had a hit for two different teams in a
I
single
think
day.
that was 1981 that happened. They had acquired Youngblood in the Tom Seaver deal back in the late 70s. I think it was 81 when they unloaded Youngblood, who he was a forerunner to the way a lot of guys are able to play the game today. He was a true utility man back then. He
He
was a
was.
third baseman outfielder, basically, but you saw him anywhere and everywhere over the field, across the field, like guys like Lee Lacy and Bob Baylor back then. He was kind of a poor man's Lee Lacy and Bob Baylor. Today, it's sort of like you need somebody to play somewhere, and because of the way teams have to spend money to get the top players, you look for utility guys who can play pretty much everywhere to fill out the roster, and you see much of that today. And a place where players will learn to play every position they need to learn in order to work their way up the system. It's going to be a place like at Dutchess Stadium.
Exactly. That's the beautiful thing about the minor leagues, and this is where players can hone their skills and put themselves on the map. So playing for that prize, which is now 60 miles down the road from here. So it's pretty cool to watch. And I've been lucky in my career. I've seen a lot of players go from the levels that I'm working at up to the major leagues. I've had players. I started my career at the Yankees when they had their AA affiliate in Albany, New York, and I've got players that played on teams I work for that have numbers retired in Yankee Stadium now. So I know I've been doing this for a little while. Pretty neat.
A baseball player to me is kind of like the player today in the way that you may not just be a shortstop or just a third baseman. Today you might play second base. Tomorrow you play third. The next day you play left field. Following day you're in right field. Next day, well, the shortstop pulled up lame before the game. You're going to play short today. Oh, our two catchers got hurt. You're going to be the emergency third string catcher. And it's a blowout. We need somebody to throw an inning or two to save an arm. And that's going to be you. And that's what these players are learning and developing today. You talk about honing their skills at a place like Dutchess Stadium with the Renegades in Wappingers Falls. That's what baseball today is about.
Exactly. And that's the great thing about minor league baseball is that for those who really come and want to follow the game, to watch players move up through the system, and you could say you saw them win. That's kind of neat to be able to do.
Mm-hmm. Now, the support you've generated over the past almost 25 years in the Hudson Valley, in Dutchess County, with the franchise, with the Hudson Valley Renegades, so much support in Dutchess and Orange and Putnam counties and Rockland, too, and into Westchester County and up in Ulster County. You got people who come down from Sullivan. You cover the entire 7-county lower Hudson Valley area. And that's a credit and a tribute to the work the franchise has done, what we call nowadays community outreach.
Yeah, we're real proud of that. And we've always felt that it's important to give back and to be a part of the community that supports this team. And we've been fortunate to be able to do that and have a lot of great relationships in the Hudson Valley for, as you said, over 25 years. And now with this new affiliation with the Yankees, and the interest has even grown stronger. And once we get past the challenges of today with the pandemic still going on, it is very safe to say that this building will be full for 60 plus nights a year watching Renegades baseball here at Dutchess Stadium.
Mm-hmm. Steve Gleiner, president and general manager of the Hudson Valley Renegades, Class A baseball team. The Renegades are headquartered and play their home games at Dutchess Stadium in Wappingers Falls, just off the new Exit 41, the old Exit 11 of I-84 on Route 9D, centrally located in Dutchess County on 9D in Wappingers Falls. Let's talk pandemic. You mentioned it a moment ago. Protocols for this season. What will those protocols be like at Dutchess Stadium?
So as of today, New York State has put forth a specific list of protocols for outdoor facilities like ours. And basically, there's a couple of things to note. One is the percentage of capacity, which right now is at 20%. Our hope is when we open on May 11th, that number is going to relax a little bit, and it might be a little larger than that. But we're ready to go, whatever the case may be. Our staff has worked real hard to put together our seating manifest to accommodate different levels of percentages of capacity. And that's a pretty tricky task. It's a lot easier to just open the building and say, everybody come in like we are all used to doing. But unfortunately, that's not the case right now. So we are ready, though, to open at 20%. We're ready to expand that capacity when the time allows. The other piece of information right now is that with facilities like ours, and this goes from a stadium the size of Dutchess Stadium all the way up to Yankee Stadium or Citi Field. Right now, New York State is requiring that fans who enter these types of venues show proof of vaccination with full vaccination plus 14 days, or proof of a negative COVID test within 72 hours of coming to the game. Again, that's a little bit of a challenge, and it's a little unique. I think we're the only state that's requiring something like that out of all the states that have baseball or outdoor venues for whatever that reason is. So we have plans in place to make sure when fans come up to the ballpark that they have a means of showing us that information so that we can let them into the building. While they're in the building, fans are going to have to wear a face mask covering their nose and mouth at all times when they're moving about the building. They'll be able to take that off at their seat when they're eating or drinking. But again, when they're moving about the building, we ask that they wear a face mask. And other than that, the experience here at the ballpark is obviously with fewer fans in the building, it's going to be a little bit less of an atmosphere, so to speak. But we're working really hard to make sure that we're trying to keep the experience as familiar as possible. And that's going to be a couple of things. One, we will have the full food and beverage operation open in terms of points of sale and the types of foods that we've had here in the past. And when I say points of sale, we may have fewer lines because we have to do our social distancing as well. But most of the points of sale that we typically have had here at the building will be open. And then, of course, our in-between inning promotions, which is also a little bit of a challenge this year because we're not able to put fans on the field. And then basically MLB is asking us to keep the players separate from the fans. So autograph opportunities won't be there this year, unfortunately. And there'll be some buffer zones that we have to put in place that we haven't had in the past. So, but we've created what we're calling the promo zone down in left field where our kids' play area used to be, which unfortunately we can't do right now either. So between innings, we're going to plan on having socially distanced contests down there that we'll beam up to our video board. But they'll be right in the park, so fans that are here can take part in those types of promotions, including our pregame, first pitches, our national anthems. We could do all that from this promo zone area. So, I think what we do best in minor league baseball, and it's not just here with the Renegades, but all minor league baseball teams across the country, is that we always take a situation and we try to find find the way that we can make the best of it.
Mm-hmm. You get creative is what you do.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's one of the most fun things about what we do is the creative side of it. So, we want fans to come out to the ballpark. We want to make a safe experience for them. We want them to feel comfortable, but we want it to be familiar too. We don't want it to be where it's kind of watered down because of this. I think we're all in life just trying to find ways to bring back the normal, so to speak, of what things were like before all this. So I think when fans come out this year, first of all, they haven't been here in almost 2 years. So I think it's going to be something that's really familiar and really exciting for the opportunity for them to come back. We're excited to welcome fans back into the building for Renegades Baseball. We've missed it. We've missed the fan interaction a great deal. But at the end of the day, just to be able to have baseball back again, we'll do what it takes. And we're going to make sure that people are safe when they come here and that they leave having a great time. And hopefully, like we've always done, giving them a 3 or 4 hour break from reality and just, to do something fun that they really enjoy.
What's the normal capacity at Dutchess Stadium?
So our seating bowl is 4,500, and with our group areas, we can eclipse 5,000. So, we could typically put 5,000 plus people in the building. So our capacity this year is going to be just a little bit over 1,000 people at 20%.
Mm-hmm. Now, we talked before about how high schools and colleges use Dutchess Stadium for baseball and maybe even some other athletic purposes and uses in sports too. Will that be the case this summer as well? Will area high schools and colleges be allowed to use the stadium too?
So right now, leading up to our season, we haven't been able to host any games because there's so much activity going on here getting ready for the season. And like I said, we just installed new lighting. And that was and now with 3 weeks to go before the season starts, 3.5 weeks, the activity around the building right now just to get the ballpark ready for the 2021 season is pretty busy. So right now we don't have anything else going on, but we're hoping to host a couple of high school graduations here that we've been talking to the school districts about. And then once we get in past our first couple of homestands, we're going to start doing some of those typical field usages here at the ballpark. And I think as as the pandemic situation starts to hopefully relax again, that we'll be able to do even more and more things. But even during the pandemic, once camps were allowed, we were doing baseball camps and we were doing parking lot craft fairs, which I didn't know the craft fair business in this market was such a big deal. But we had heard about it and we said, we'll give it a shot. And we were able to do some craft fairs out in the parking lot and people really enjoyed that. We're not home on July 4th this year, but we're planning on doing a standalone July 4th fireworks event, or July 3rd we might do it on. So I think as things start to kind of become familiar and normal again, as much as that is, that'll give us some more opportunities to do some more things here at the building, in the ballpark as well.
I pull up on the parking lot sometimes and I see a fair going on at certain times
Mhm.
of year. Will that fair be around? Is that the Dutchess County Fair?
Yeah, so
That's what I thought.
the fair was taking place here. It hadn't been here for the last few years, and we are in talks with another group that does a fair just like it, and we might have one of those back here in the fall again, but hopefully definitely again next spring.
Now, I guess the situation comes down to, as we get more and more vaccinated, as we see that things are safer and safer, the more safety protocols are followed, the easier we'll be able to get back to a more safe society. And the more that happens, the more the door will open at Dutchess Stadium, too.
Exactly, and I think we're heading in the right direction, and our goal is that by the end of the season, maybe, and we don't know that yet, but maybe as we get towards the end of the season, maybe we could open it up all the way and fully, and let's hope that the numbers continue to go in that direction, and that's where we wind up.
Now, for anybody who'd like to get involved with the Hudson Valley Renegades, what should they do? For example, if you want to buy a season ticket plan, let's talk about that. Anybody who wants to get involved, wants to make sure they are there for every game this season, what are season ticket packages like? By the way, before you answer that, how many home games will be played?
So we'll have 60 home games this year, and in a regular season, we'll probably have a little bit more than that, probably more like 66. So we're pretty much playing a full season this year.
Yeah.
The typical New York Penn League season was 38 home games. So because of the limited seating capacity right now, our season ticket opportunities are slightly limited because of that. But there are other opportunities for tickets. One of the interesting plans that we have is called a Flex Plan. And basically, what that is it's a voucher that you can use towards. It's a set of vouchers that you could use towards getting tickets throughout the season. So if you wanted to get 2 tickets for one game or 4 for another, you could do it that way. And so the best way to find out about that information is go to our website at hbrenegades.com or give us a call here at the office at 845-838-0094. And if I could also add something else about just the seating in general, here in 2021, because of the way that we have to do our seating, we're using a term that has become very familiar in sports called pod seating. So essentially what that is that when fans go to buy tickets, in the past, you could just, if you needed 2 tickets or 3 tickets or 5 tickets, you would just get 2, 3, or 5 seats together and you'd be fine. But now you have to buy a pod, so to speak. So if you have only 3 people in your group, but we only have pods of 4 available, you got to buy the pod of 4. And unfortunately, that's just the way it has to be right now. We're not able to mix groups that aren't together because of the way the requirements are during the pandemic. So
from what I've seen the past few years, what different teams have done, the flex plan seems pretty popular.
it is, and it provides just that flexibility. So
Right.
I think these days it seems like people are more and more busy, and they've got a lot more going on, especially families with kids and travel sports programs and things of that nature. It seems like the flex plan concept is the best way to go for a lot of people.
I think one way to do it too, I've seen people I know do this, maybe buy a flex plan, even if you don't know who's going to come to the game tonight with you, you'll find somebody. Or, August 18th, I don't know anybody who might come that now. August 18th is months away. You'll find somebody.
Absolutely. And again, that's the flexibility of it. And I think people really enjoy that.
Mm-hmm. Now, for people who would like to get involved on the advertising end to be part of the support community for the Hudson Valley Renegades, what should one do?
So same thing, give us a call here at the stadium at 845-838-0094. And there are still some opportunities for this season. They're filling up fast, but outfield billboards, promotional night sponsorships, a lot of digital type opportunities that we've created over the years, whether in the ballpark or on our social media platforms. So I would absolutely recommend. It's a great way to reach out into the community, and it's a unique way to promote your business. And I would absolutely recommend that you come on out and join us here at Dutchess Stadium.
And I verify that because being at Dutchess Stadium so many times, one of the most impressive things is the array of advertisers along the walls in the outfield. You get totally filled and covered up, and you see walk in. Oh, look, ShopRite's here. I got to go to ShopRite after the game, by the way.
I think that businesses love partnering with us, and there's a lot of reasons for that. But one, what's great about partnering with us here at Dutchess Stadium is that, fans come here to have a good time. They come in with a positive mindset, and they're here with their families and their friends, and they're here to enjoy America's pastime, baseball, and to be entertained. And so, partnering with us and being able to put your business name out in an atmosphere like that, it's a win-win. So I think that's been the constant throughout the years is that, and we have some partners of ours that have been with us since 1994, since our very first year. And we're proud of those partnerships, and we really appreciate those. And we love all the new opportunities that come up as well. And even we've had sponsors that we work with that come to us with an idea. Hey, is there a way we can implement that? And you mentioned, John, before, the creative aspect of what we get to do and kind of this big blank canvas that we have. I just love the ability to be creative and to work with our partners and to find ways to do things that are unique and different that they really buy into and they really want to be a part of it and use our venue as a means to send that message.
Bottom line, if an advertiser or potential sponsor has an idea, you will find a way to make it work.
We'll figure it out. We may have to tweak it slightly just to make it fit. I've had some ones that are like, I don't know if that's going to work.
When you start to tweak, you get into things that you never thought about before.
Exactly. Sometimes you put two different creative minds together and you get even a bigger idea. So I think that's part
what
of
compromise and meeting of the minds is about, I think.
Yeah. Or being a mad scientist, so to speak, right?
Now, you have to be a mad scientist sometimes when it comes to advertising creation, and you find out certain things that you thought might not work. If you give it a shot, they do work.
Exactly.
How about your website, your email, etc.?
So our website is hvrenegades.com. It is updated constantly. There's all kinds of information on there about the season, about the ballpark, about our staff, our roster, our players, our coaching staff. Everything you need to know about the Renegades is on there. You could also download the MILB app in the App Store at Android or on Apple platform. Again, just opportunities there as well. So if anyone's interested in that, they should reach out to us about that as much.
Steve Gliner, the Hudson Valley Renegades, Dutchess Stadium, Wappingers Falls. This will be the place to be in the summer and spring of 2021.
Indeed. We're ready to go. We got a few more weeks before we get started, but, since we haven't played baseball here with the Renegades since September of 2019, it's hard to believe it's been almost 2 years, but we can't wait to get started, and we're really looking forward to welcoming fans back this season.
Play ball. That's what it comes down to, and it's time for that. Right down the road, just a couple of weeks away. Steve Gliner, President, General Manager of the Hudson Valley Renegades, Class A baseball team. Renegades, headquartered at Dutchess Stadium, play their home games there in Wappingers Falls off 84, the new Exit 41, the old Exit 11. In your mind, is it still Exit 11 like it is for me?
It is, and I live off Exit 13, so I can't get used to the number changes either. But so I guess the mile marker concept probably works really well. So
all we know is it's right off 84. You see the 9D exit, whatever direction you come in, and there you go. You're right there. So, all right. Steve Gliner, we thank you very much for joining us here on Dutchess Talk Radio. And we are produced by Shark Creative, made possible by Entergy, the Indian Point Energy Center, supporting our communities right through the spring of 2021. Catch all of our Dutchess, Orange, Putnam, Rockland, Westchester, and Fairfield County talk radio programming on our YouTube channel, Shark Creative YouTube.